with 15 minutes to do it.
Yeah. And we only needed 14. We only needed 14. Well, Carl, thank you for joining us. It makes a quorum, so greatly,
Sorry, I'm late.
Greatly appreciate that you're here. So
It's all about you tonight.
Yeah,
For showing up.
That's right. Thanks for showing up. So we have the meeting minutes from August 12th. I'll entertain them. Are there any edits, deletions, additions?
Mike, I sent Phyllis, can't remember if I copied you, just a quick correction. Under the Dr. Cortman information, she had put that his budget was something like 5,000, whatever. And his actual budget, when we agreed to, if he did everything to work with him for 2020 to 2021, is $14,000. An additional $3,100 is outside lab analysis, which I know he's already used once or twice with some cyanobacteria testing. So just FYI, the information probably should say 14,000 and an additional 3,100 for lab analysis.
Okay. All right. And with that said, are there any other edits or adjustments? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. So moved. Excellent. And it doesn't look like we have any guests here this evening. Communications. Any communications for tonight?
We have the dam report that I got.
Yeah, that'll come under committee. So why don't we get started with that?
Okay.
The dam report.
Okay. So there is a report from Brian Paul. I got in contact with Andy Andrews, and I think Mark might help me out on this because I'm not quite sure who's the acting guy now.
Acting is Andy Andrews.
Yeah.
Brian is acting foreman.
Okay. So I talked to Andy.
Acting foreman is Brian Paul. And acting director is Andy Andrews.
Oh, acting director. Okay.
Right. We only hire people with two first names in Columbia.
Got him.
Andrews, Brian Paul.
So anyway, I talked to Andy, and he wasn't real familiar with our procedures. He told me that Brian Paul would be the person right now to do things. So we have to get him a copy of the new guidelines so he can go over and be more familiar. You got that to him? Okay.
Yep, and they sent their first report over to me today.
Right, I got that also.
Okay, good.
So his report was -6 inches, but I went over this afternoon and I'm at -7.5 inches, and they say 5 at number 1 weep hole and 3 at number 2, but I always have done a percentage, and I'm at 15% on the left and 5 on the right, so I'm not quite sure what that is. And I got a 76 degrees for water temperature.
So
What was the water? What was the water temperature?
It's 76 over here at my house.
All right, and what was the right tube?
3. Oh wait, I got 5%, but he writes a 3. Maybe he goes a 1 to 10. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, can you make sure we're all in the same, doing everything the same, David?
Yeah,
Good.
We've got
okay.
historic data, so they should stay with the same system and not invent a new
Yeah.
system.
I looked at some older ones and they have been using the singular numbers where I've always written percentage. So we do have to get that going.
Well, I think Mark Coleman used to use percentages, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, so
That
that's
was 10% ever since I've been on, Mike.
that's going back pretty far.
So I would have to say when he says 3, he might mean 30%, 1 through 10, if that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
That's it for now.
Thank you, Dave. Any? Okay. Any
I didn't-
reports on fishing? Access, safety, and regulations. So that would be, is the head of the Lake Patrol, is there a report there, Mark?
Yes, I can read it to you. And I got it to Phyllis for the minutes and to you, Mike.
Okay.
So the August report in the month of July, so it's the July report. In the month of July, 3 new stickers were issued to boats who passed inspection. There were 241 non-motorized vessels that passed inspection, made up of kayaks, sailboats, and paddleboards.
Wow.
2 boats were turned away. One was over horsepower and one was a non-resident. And a kayak was also turned away for being a non-resident. So maybe that's 3 boats were turned away. On the boat, Marine Patrol, they had a total of 8 tows for various reasons. 34 warnings issued, mostly made up of jet skis that were too close to shore, illegal maneuvers. One was for a drone, and no lights on while driving at dark, and a life jacket violation, and swimming more than 100 feet from shore while being unoccupied. I guess that's without a spotter.
Without a boat next to it.
Okay. Our state trooper was involved in one incident. There was a major issue involving cleanup from the hurricane, which includes a large tree over the dam. We're still trying to figure out how to get that out of there. We're still seeking some bunch of avenues on that.
Mark, in the past, what they've done is use the Marine Patrol boat to tow that over to the town beach, and then they lift it out with mechanized equipment.
Problem is, this branch is so big that it's stuck on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And we need, like in Jaws, we need a bigger boat. Bob, maybe your tug can be brought in.
I could bring it
There you go.
over horsepower.
Right. Another issue is we had a mooring break loose, and we can't figure out why this happened. And we've had some people tying up to the wrong mooring. So I've been getting involved in that, getting that fixed.
In the past, Mark, the shackles at the bottom of the moorings have rusted through, and sometimes that's where it breaks loose. The chain that goes down to the mooring will break loose.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we need to go to stainless steel or something, because this is happening every year.
I know when George Murphy was there, he had a program to replace some of those. He would replace half a dozen a year, for example, and maybe for some reason they didn't get replaced this year, and some of them are 4 or 5 years old, and those will rust through.
Okay. Year to date, just so you get a feeling, they issued 188 stickers. They had 553 non-motorized vessels inspected. 14 boats got turned away. Total of 20 towings. 100 warnings or pullovers, and the police were involved in 3 separate incidents.
One of the
On some notes at the bottom, the town is currently looking into upgrading a few of the island markers so they have proper reflective tape on them. And the fire department is looking to recommend a permanent marker to note where their intake is instead of using the Clorox bottle that's presently floating out there.
Mark, it's been replaced with a red buoy. I think Sharon did that from the Marine Patrol.
Okay, good.
are
And I
you
think
sure
we
it
still
was-
might try to get a permanent buoy that has reflective material.
Yeah. I saw a party
you sure
boat
you sure
right
it was
over it.
Mark Armstrong?
What's that, Bob?
I thought Mark Armstrong may have put his buoy out there because he's been doing laps with his.
No, Sharon put this on the bleach bottle
Yeah.
when we found out it was a pipe. Now, Mark, is that a permanent buoy? It needs to be there?
Well, we're trying to find that out. I don't know if the fire department put that on there while they were doing their scoping and analysis of the quality of the pipe,
Right.
or if it's always on there.
My
No,
understanding was they did it just to do the analysis.
Right.
I can tell you in 30 years, it's never been there until last fall.
So maybe we can get rid of it now. The analysis is done and the pipe was okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's good to know.
We can always find it again. It's not that
Hasta la
hard.
vista.
Okay. Another thing that's come to light is we booked out the kayaks and the moorings this year. So we're starting to build kayak racks on the land for people that could put their kayaks just, in a rack and don't need to float them in the water. And another thought is to do another row of moorings on the lake. I didn't know if LMAC had any opinions on that.
this year's been the only year that you've booked out in
I
about
know.
10 years. So
Well, the
maybe an anomaly.
COVID virus year.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that's missing from that report, Mark, is the number of keys that have been issued. Because I know last month it was over 50.
Yeah, so we maxed out, it's 50 something keys that were issued.
Right.
So we maxed out, we're down to 1 key that we keep in my office. And again, I think that a lot of that's COVID virus. People were just panicked that I better get a key so I can go in whenever I want. But I don't see those numbers probably happening next year if COVID is calmed down. But moorings, I don't know.
The same thing may happen with the moorings as well.
Right.
I mean, last year we only had half of them taken.
Yep.
So, I wouldn't be too quick to add moorings.
I agree.
Yeah,
Since
let's.
I've been here, they haven't been full.
Right. So let's look for a pattern here on the moorings. And I'm sorry, did you say that you're getting more kayaks, or you're just putting up a kayak rack?
Racks for people that want to, they rent a rack from us.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
There's
they,
wet
they,
storage,
they don't want to haul their kayak on their car every time.
right, but there's also wet storage for kayaks. But that's limited. So if you had dry storage, that would increase the storage capability.
Right.
Cool.
So this is for resident
Correct.
storage.
Correct.
Okay.
Right now we have one that we just created was a sculling boat. It's pretty long.
Okay.
Question on drones. Could someone remind me? I've been asked to get a ripples out. We've had 3 sightings in the last 7 days, 3 different drones on the lake. They are not permitted on the lake. Is that a state
That is
or
a
a local?
Mary, that's a state regulation because the state governs the water. No one can operate a drone over state-owned property.
Okay.
If you look at DEP regulations, it's clearly stated that they can't fly drones over state parks or any other state-owned property.
Thank you. I'll find it and remind people.
The other thing is there's a federal regulation that says they're prohibited from flying over populated areas, and Columbia Lake is considered a populated area.
Okay. Thank you.
Bob, where have we been seeing these drones? I haven't seen one.
One was Upper Donny Road, two was to my right, Lower Erdoney Road, and three was out over the lake on the Erdoney side. Excuse me, in the Buell's Cove side, Buell's Cove. Three
Harry,
reports.
were the first two over the water or over property?
Yes, the first two were over the water and then came onto properties. The one from Buell's Cove, I was over the water. My understanding was filming a water skier
Okay.
or
So do we know
tuber,
where these
something.
came from? Did we find out where they came?
I was given guesstimates, and I certainly don't want to, convict someone who may be innocent.
No, I guess I just personally haven't seen one.
Yeah, I can tell you one was right to my right. And the Marine Patrol actually, Mark, came over. That was one of the first that I saw. Because the Marine Patrol
maybe we-
saw it also.
Need to get a sniper on the Marine boat so we can take them out.
We'll shoot a flare at it.
Yeah, something. Okay.
Hopefully our eagles will help us,
Train the eagle.
right?
There you go.
Hey, Mark, I had a question on the moorings. Say we get a spike in COVID this winter and we have another active summer on the lake. What's involved with putting in a mooring? Does that have to happen when the lake is drawn down, or can that be done anytime?
It could be done anytime.
Okay.
We involve a diver and our town aluminum boat to place the moorings.
Okay. So like early next spring, if we had a bunch of demand from residents for
Right, we
mooring.
could easily.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Years ago, there used to be a lottery for those moorings because they were oversubscribed, and there was a lottery, first come, first serve, or a number, whatever it was a lottery.
Right.
Yeah, and
We
And
haven't hit our
typically-
lottery in the last 4 years. I mean, I've been able to give everybody a mooring, but what happens is once we fill up, people call and want a mooring and we tell them it's full. So I
Right.
think we could have done easily 5 more this year if we weren't full.
Does it pay for the cost of the mooring?
I haven't looked at what a mushroom costs and it's probably,
There-
you probably lose money.
Yeah, I mean a mushroom is depending on the size, could be what 250, $300, and then plus chain and rigging, and a buoy.
Yeah, so
So
it's gonna take 3 years to break even probably.
Yeah. So, call it, just call it $500, per just, conservatively.
Well, you've also got the labor involved of installing it, and then you put out the winter sticks.
Yeah.
You take the mooring ball off. I mean, all of that adds up too.
All right, 6-year payback.
Yeah.
But again,
no more throwing car engines down there, huh?
No, that's not what I mean.
no more engine blocks.
No more engine block.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
used to use
Oh, you
engine blocks,
know.
you're right. Before Simple.
Okay.
Mark, I have a question, Mark. If you added more moorings, would you just add another row further into the lake, or would you
Yeah.
spread the existing rows further?
I would imagine you'd go 1 row further into the lake.
I gotta
That-
say, I personally would be opposed to that.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd have to really think about layout, because that would be encroaching into, the navigation lanes.
Well, I'm also getting,
When the wind is right, those boats push out into the lake pretty good.
pushback on the bigger pontoon boats now. They don't want to be in the middle of the mooring field. They want to be on the extremes. So it's starting to get tough to negotiate where people go.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There's quite
there
a
were
difference there.
there were many years where it was very, very difficult to get a mooring, and nobody ever thought about adding more.
Right.
Well, I think for the reason that Steve brought up, I think it was, as I remember, making just more can really, that can
Then when
really
you-
encroach.
Yeah, and then when do you stop?
Right.
Then they start complaining, well, last year you added more.
It's not, and this is just me spitballing with the advisory committee, but it's not an attractive looking thing, for one thing. Not that I see it, but the birds, it seems like the birds shit all over the boats that are parked on the moorings, and
Oh, yes.
maybe you could
That they do.
expand those a little bit.
I mean, I'm sure COVID had a big play in this year, but it used to go in cycles, because before I lived on the lake, I used to always sign up for moorings, and I'd get my name in there early, and some years I got it, and some years I didn't get it, and you know what I mean, and it usually happened in cycles, like 2 or 3 years it'd be really packed, it'd be tough to get, and then a couple of years it would be very easy to get one. You know,
I mean,
so
to me, it's a double-edged sword. You let transient boaters stay in the lake, which is a good thing, so they're not moving them around to other bodies if they want to. They kind of commit to Columbia Lake when they're on a mooring. But the flip side is there's a lot of those moorings there already, and I think another row out to the lake would be a lot.
Excuse me,
in my own opinion.
Yeah, excuse me, Mike.
Yep.
Henry Beck's trying to get into the meeting. You got to let him in. Mike?
Done.
no, Mark,
Yeah.
Mark's going.
Mark's the
Mark,
gatekeeper.
thank you, Mark.
Okay, so
He's the
So
trigger.
should we do some sort of an analysis to say, how many are there currently and how many perhaps could be added, and try to figure this out? I
think
mean,
there's
my ilk is
14.
30 years on the lake, they haven't been filled. And obviously this is
Yeah.
the exception, not the rule. But Carl, you make a good point. The exception may last.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's see if this is a pattern.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
let's we could make a whole big thing about this, and it's not an issue, but and if they need, if adding them is even a practical option, adding them is a practical option, we can address it in the spring, but
and they
why
can be
don't-
added at any time.
well, right.
If there's
But
a-
We talk about sight lines when we issue permits for people. What about the sight lines when we add another row of boats for the people that are in that cove?
I agree with you,
There you
Steve.
go.
I mean, but I mean, I'm just wondering if we need to burn a lot of fuel on this now,
I agree.
when we don't know that it's a problem.
Yeah,
I'll
table
put my
it.
sock in my mouth.
What's that?
I said I'll put my sock in my mouth.
Yeah,
good.
no.
I'm
You're
I get it.
Yeah.
I just think there's some things that you need to talk about if you're going to add a few more rows of moorings. I'm not opposed to it,
I concur.
but if we talk about line of sight for somebody's dock, and then all of a sudden we decide we're going to add 8 more moorings and another row, when the boats swing one way, it's one thing. When they swing the other, it's another, and it's not 15 feet. It's a lot of feet.
Yeah,
I concur.
it's 50 feet, but I'm with you. I think we're all in agreement. It's just all I'm saying is let's address it if it becomes a problem.
Agreed.
Yeah. Right. It's premature right now. So.
Sorry to be late. Is this the talking about moorings at the beach?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were just closing out that we're going to
Yes.
table it. And see if there's a so okay. Is there anything else with access, safety, and regulations?
Just that Marine Patrol is going to run through October 11th, and it'll be just weekends after September 13th. And the gate monitors will run they're going to run Monday through Sunday, 10 to 8, and Marine Patrol is Monday through Friday, 5 to 8, 11 to 8 on weekends.
Can you just email me? I'm trying to run the meeting and take minutes here, so I can't write that fast. Can you just email me those?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay.
And just to
And
remind everybody that the lake drawdown is October 15th this year.
Correct.
And what were the gate hours? They're gonna just be weekends going forward, right? Mark?
What was that?
The gate hours are just gonna be weekends going forward, right?
Okay, I couldn't hear Henry, but the gate hours are Monday through Sunday, 10 to 8. So all week, 10 to 8.
Even during September and October?
Yeah, it looks like the gate goes all the way and then it doesn't switch. Marine Patrol switches to just weekends. It's silent on the gate though.
In the past, the gate has also gone to weekends.
Has it?
Yeah.
So I'll verify that to see if the gate switches to weekends after September.
Well, they keep the gate locked or shut all the time now.
Correct.
So
It's always shut.
if the Marine Patrol not there, or is it the Marine Patrol or is it the lifeguard that's monitoring it?
Well, the
It's
lifeguards are done
actually-
now. So
It's actually the head of the rec department and his assistant, and their office is right there. And my understanding is they have a video so that they're right there to open the gate because it is always locked now for anyone. So Mark, that may be accurate that they just keep the gate closed, but they'll open it Monday
Right.
through Sunday.
We're also getting a quote on a driveway sensor. So when somebody rolls near the gate, a bell goes off.
Mark,
Instead of relying on video.
Mark,
That's a great idea.
there are casual drivers that drive down and do a loop just to make sure the lake is still there. Monitor. What you could do is put a red button on the gate post.
Right. We're looking at that too, Bob.
They got to get out of their car and take off the straps and everything anyways. They can
Right.
push the button, that sets off an alarm, somebody comes out.
We're looking at that as well.
Yeah. But there are a lot of people, I remember a lot of people just drive down the driveway, do a loop, and then drive out again. So
Okay.
that'll set
One of them,
off the road monitor.
I'm one of them. I sit down there a lot and have a phone conversation with somebody.
Yeah, you got to make sure the water's in the lake, you know?
Well,
I do the same thing. I'd like to see if it's the water's at a higher level over there by the beach as opposed to my house.
well, Jim, you're kind of spoiled. They usually tuck the water up for you nice and neat, so everything's nice over there for you. You know, for me,
I thought you might be
Yeah.
looking to see, I thought you might be looking for some of your missing sand.
I got no missing sand anymore, Henry. I spent $200,000 to fix that. I don't lose any sand. My beach is perfect now.
Good to hear.
all right. Okay. Anything on watershed management plan? Okay. Any reports on the storm water culverts? All right. Dam emergency plan, anything there? And permit review.
All 3 permits you sent to Board of Selectmen last night were approved.
Right, and Mike, you have copies of those so you can include the names in the minutes?
I can send those to you, Mike.
Mike,
That would be great. Mark, if you could send me those.
Mike, I think I already sent those to you.
All right, but if you could just send me a list of what got approved, that would be great. And let's see, budget review.
Question on that. We used to review those as a whole. Are we now just letting the committee pass on them and send them on to the selectmen for efficiency?
If the applications are pretty straightforward, Henry, the committee just reviews those and approves or recommends approval. If there's something that would set a new precedent or maybe contentious or whatever, we bring it to the full committee.
Very good. Thank you.
And budget review. Anything there?
No, you, I
Okay.
think you spent a little bit of your 20,000 in professional technical this year. And I just sent a PO to Dr. Cortman for 14,000 for his services. So you look like you're in good shape. And I also followed up with your Phragmites permit, and that still exists from last year. It's still holding, and they'll start calling us and scheduling as the fall approaches. So I have myself and Mary Rokel down as contacts to let Solitude into the lake.
Okay. I'm just making notes here.
Hey, Mark, any response from Cortman on the historical data? Yeah.
Yes, he put everything on a thumb drive, but we can't open it. So,
God bless America.
Great.
I don't know. We might have to buy him a hard drive and send it to him.
Oh, geez.
I'm not sure what's going on. So we almost have it solved.
It was probably a case that in 1988 we were using, or 1998 we were using different software.
I don't know.
Jeez.
Or he's using a different software.
I
Yeah.
can't tell what he sent me. So we'll start over, Mary.
Got it.
Hold on, I'm making notes.
I hate to think of what time he spent downloading everything onto that thumb drive.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a scam, Mark. Maybe you didn't download anything.
He just
Trying to get
sent me an empty thumb drive.
He bought a thumb drive at CVS. He sent it over to you and didn't put anything on it.
Who knows?
All right. All right.
Doing that
So,
to different
where are we at with the guidelines?
Those were approved by Board of Selectmen. So if you, if you want a approved copy sent to everybody on the board, I could do that.
Please do.
All right.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Going forward, we need to do something about creating a liaison with wetlands so that we can clarify and get it to be a one-stop permit or something like that, so that people, hopefully the wetlands would be willing to have a regulation that says if it's from the seawall out, it goes under the lake guidelines, and we'll approve it if that's approved. And similarly, anything from the seawall back, it's got to have a wetland permit. But right now, that's not clear.
Okay.
Henry, is
All
a
right.
step in the right direction? Steve Harrington and I are alternates on the Wetlands Committee now.
Well, that's good. So someday when you're an alternate, raise the question.
Yep, exactly.
The wetlands have jurisdiction over the lake because it is a wetland. And so even though now they're kind of tacit, not getting involved in the dock regulations, and hopefully they won't, it would be good to just have a simple regulation that of the wetlands that says that if it's from the seawall out, it's and it's approved by LMAC and the selectmen, it's fine by wetlands.
Got it.
And just so the board knows, Henry was voted last night as a non-voting member of the Charter Revision Commission as our legal representative.
Ah,
Congratulations, Henry.
Well, you want to make
congratulations.
any changes to the charter, let me know.
Right. Your board tonight, whip out the charter and give it a review.
All right.
Henry, is that a job you wanted or a job you ended up with?
It's a job that I volunteered for, you know, being a town council for almost 20 years. I have run into issues where the charter could be a little bit clearer or could be adjusted. So I'm just volunteering time to kind of point those out to the appointed board. I'm ex officio.
Oh,
Congratulations.
there you go. Have at it.
All right. So the gatekeeper, so is Brian Paul the acting gatekeeper? Is
Yes.
that,
Well, yes, and I'll add to that. We just hired a public works director last night. So your new public works director, her name is Beth Lunt. And she was the public works director I hired for East Haddam 9 years ago. And so she's managed a town bigger than Columbia with 120 miles of road and a lot more bridges than Columbia. So she and I built a lot of bridges together, did a lot of drainage. Her background before that was, I think, 8 years she has her master's in engineering in water drainage and wetlands, and she's designed water treatment plants and water flow through suburbs, you name it. So that's her background, but she is also now a public works director. So I think it'll be a good fit. It's a win for Columbia.
Sounds like
Great.
an excellent fit,
Wow. Love the credentials. Good.
right? She'll become a siphon expert.
Right.
There you go.
That'll be her first assignment. Figure this out.
nice. Okay. And a mapping update from Carl?
Are you talking about mapping the bottom?
I don't know. It says Carl Foster mapping update.
Oh,
That's a surprise to me.
If you're talking about mapping the bottom of the lake for the siphon, that's been contracted through Anchor Engineering, and they've hired Hydro somebody.
And the town came up with the money for it. I think that may have been why it was still on our agenda to make sure that it got funded.
Yes, somehow we'll pay for it.
yeah. Two things to share there. Cortman did update us that following this mapping project, the next steps he is calling for is a feasibility evaluation, calculating different flushing rates, and then engineering a siphon pipe approach. In addition, it will support a permit acquisition along with the other data as temp and oxygen at various water depths. So Cortman has talked to our town engineer, Mark, and I
Yes.
guess they've laid out this process and these plans, and step one is this mapping process. If there's any sense of urgency, I did send to the LMAC committee the cyanobacteria report. I want to be cautious that Cortman has said we're in excellent shape. And we also, though, have to be cognizant that that report was well over the threshold where there should be a posting for warning. His ilk is, this is not a huge bloom. It's a patch, but let's be cognizant that the patch goes from the dam down Woodland Terrace, around the camp to Upper Erdoney Road. I took 2 samples on August 3rd. One was Upper Erdoney Road and one was Woodland Terrace. So I think we do have to recognize that we've got this issue, whether it be climate change and everything else impacting, where, Mark, if you need any more evidence as to why we should be doing this, this is concerning, I think, that you get the extent from the dam all the way down to Erdoney, as well as you get a report back that this is well above, what should be posted for a warning.
Okay.
Any other thoughts or comments are welcome, but
Well, what about warnings? I mean, we're certainly saying something to the Lake Association members through newsletters and electronic announcements, but is there a legal requirement to do some kind of notice, and how do you do it?
yes, Henry, and I haven't reviewed the entire document that was sent. There were 2 things sent, not only the report that says we were well over needing a posting, but Cortman's email did recommend that we partner with our local health authority and have in place. He said, what we have in place now is fine, but we're impacting 100 out of 180 households on the lake, let alone nobody in the town unless they read Facebook. So I think we do have to probably strengthen or shore up our approach to if this happens again.
Yeah, it would seem that there needs to be kind of like a notice that one can go to the town website to get a health of the lake report or something like that.
Yeah.
And that if these things have to be announced, it's just put there, and that would protect everybody from a legal perspective, and everybody would know that that's where the notice is posted, and you can go there. Clearly, if it's at the beach, it's going to be posted at the beach because people will be told accordingly. It's when
Correct.
it's along private property that it gets to be a little more difficult.
Good points, and I'll take them. And Mark, why don't I read the report first in terms of what DEEP is recommending and what Cortman is recommending, and we can get together. You know, my ilk is we're getting to the fall, the hot climate's probably gone away, and let's hope we don't see any more cyanobacteria, and we can address this over the winter.
Also, we need, remember, Henry, you were going to help us create a team that their job is taking samples and
Yeah.
clearly getting it to the analysis lab on a timely manner.
Yeah, Mary and I we're working on that, and we talked, Mary particularly talked with Dr. Cortman early in the season, and it kind of got put on hold for a year because of COVID. So I do have from Bob Powell the Setchi dish, and I do have the oxygen meter. And if I had 2 working knees, I was going to be out there playing with them this month, but that hasn't happened. But it may happen before the end of the season. If not, it'll happen at the beginning of the next, and we'll be working with Cortman to get that going. I don't think though we'll have an absence of volunteers. I think we'll be able to staff that pretty well. It's a matter of getting his recommendations as to what data we want to keep track of and how often. And the mapping of the lake will help us because it'll help us confirm the deepest spot down there in the dam, which is one of the places where we'll want to be testing for oxygen.
Right. And Mark, so you know, when Cortman delayed for a year, he did train me. I have my little arm going 18 inches under the water, how to capture all the samples, et cetera. So we'll have to take people through some sort of an educational process once we do this. But I think we can be good to go next year.
Mary, if you need any volunteers, I'd be happy to help. Just let me
Awesome.
know.
Thank you, Jim. Because I'm not always here.
Yeah, and Henry,
Hey,
if you
Mary,
need somebody to help, Henry, if you need somebody to help you with this, let me know too. I'll help you.
For sure,
over the next
for sure,
Terrific.
for sure. Thank you.
Mary, can you share that report with the committee?
Which report?
The one about all this algae stuff. I don't
Oh.
think I've seen that.
I sent it out about a day ago. I think it was yesterday, but I can resend it to you, Steve.
Could you? Because I'm looking in my emails right now. I don't see it.
Okay, let me go and
I'd like to read that is all.
Yeah, no, it was alarming, but then I felt better after I read Cortman's email that, you know, we're in really good shape, but this stuff exists all over the place. It's not us. It exists in water bodies. So
Yeah, I'm going back pretty far. I'm not seeing that. So if you could resend that to me, I'd like to read it.
Actually, Steve, check Monday. It looks like she sent it out on Monday. Monday at I don't see what time it was, but
Yeah,
but
and Steve, you
10:57.
are on the distribution list, Steve, so check your spam folder or something, because you are on the distribution.
Yeah, I'm sure I am. I'm looking through my stuff. I'm just not seeing it.
Went out Monday at 4:49.
All right, I'll find it. Thank
Mark, I know, Mark, it's probably a little premature, but regarding the mapping and the engineering and the installation, is there any like timeline that we're thinking? for the actual installation? Does it have to be done during a drawdown, or do we know any of that yet? I'm just thinking about how quickly this
I
can
would
happen.
imagine ideally during the drawdowns when you'd want to do it. But you're not going to be ready for this drawdown.
I
No,
doubt
okay.
we will. I doubt
You'll
we
be
will.
targeting next year.
Yeah.
Okay,
Part of it is going to be the permit process.
yeah.
We're only talking about PVC pipes, so theoretically with a cement fixture for an anchor on the bottom, divers could do it at most any time. So let's go. But the permitting thing, one of the things that slowed this down back when it first came up was a concern that what we're putting out is phosphate-laden water, and so there are issues of dumping of nutrients downstream, and that's one of the
Right.
reasons why we've got to get the permit. So we can't just go and pollute Hop River.
Ah, there I am.
Didn't that?
Mike, I'll capture this and send you a little paragraph about it, so you don't have to worry.
Thank you, because I'm I was going to have you could send me just a quick summary on the mapping and engineering, and then the
Next steps and
cyanobacteria.
all that. Yep.
Yeah, if you could just
Happy to
those
do it.
2 items, please, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay. I'm here 100% now. So.
Okay. All right.
Ah.
Thank you. Okay. And were there any other items for tonight? That was all I had on my copy of the agenda.
Hasta la vista. Let's see. Nice of me to get here at the end.
Mike, anything follow up on the goose issue?
Yeah. If I may, we had a
Yeah.
CLA meeting. When was that? Last Wednesday, August 19th. And we put the issue forward in terms of, oh, can you hear me?
I missed the beginning of it.
Okay, relative to our friendly Canada geese and the expanding family, we put the issue out to the CLA, and we spoke and discussed lethal and non-lethal abatement. Everyone agreed non-lethal ain't working, and to get 180 homes around the lake, it's not going to work. When it came to lethal, you're going to find people who do not want them herded, who do not want them taken away and given to, hungry people, and who do not want them shot, and who do not want bullets on the lake or guns on the lake, obviously. But what they did agree to was the addling of the eggs, and or getting, and volunteers would go find the nest and at least take care of the youth. And Henry, I thought you did a great job, kind of positioning it all. And my sense and my takeaway in the minutes that we are publishing are, let's do something that is that is lethal, but doesn't kill them, except addling the eggs. Henry, any thoughts?
No, I think that was clearly the case.
Okay.
It's early abortion.
Yeah. Oh God, don't go there.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Let's not. And by the way, Phyllis was having a tough time getting into the meeting today, but she did make a point to say that she was in favor of the addling of the eggs. So.
Okay.
And Paul Ramsey sent an email to the same effect.
Yes. And they were both on the CLA meeting.
Okay.
So I think it would be a good idea to figure out how we're going to organize to do that. Whether it's going to be just a volunteer lake association type thing, or whether LMAC is going to mess it and get the town involved. It may be better to just keep it to the private landowners. It may be simpler in terms of publicity and everything else, but we ought to think about how best to unfold this program next time, because early March is going to be here pretty soon.
Yep.
Have these things still been
Well,
a
we
nuisance
should
in the last
talk
month or so?
about this. We should just talk about it this winter and figure it out, because we're gonna have to get permission to go on landowners' property around the lake.
Yeah, probably. Around the lake, not going up if.
That's probably gonna be our biggest hurdle.
Yeah, if we were to find them in Utley Stream or Utley Pond and up that way, I think we'd be fine. But you're right on the lake property.
Yeah,
Well, I think most of the landlords are going to be happy to.
I will tell you off the record.
we hope.
Off the record.
All we need is a couple that didn't.
Well,
So, but we could talk about, maybe put it on our agenda, talk through it, figure out, come up with a strategy, and then figure out how to contact the landowners and get their permissions beforehand, so we get that window. There's only a small window, right? It wasn't like a month. That's about
correct.
it.
We thought mid-April to late April, or excuse me, mid-March to or late March to April. But I will tell you that off the record, there are a lot of people who would, if they had a gun, they'd shoot these things.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some anger off the record, or emotion. I'll just say emotion, and that's fine. But we got to do it the right way.
Right, just to cover ourselves.
And the way it works, the challenge is to find the nests. Once you find the nest, you can visit them every week and handle them again.
Mhm.
Because they do lay additional eggs, so you do want to do more than one visit. But that's the key, is to identify how many pairs we have, and if it's 3, then we got to find 3 nests somewhere.
And I believe this year it was 5, Henry.
Yeah, well, that's it. It can be more, but that's we got to.
Ugh. Does
More.
anybody even know if they've ever seen a nest on this lake?
I don't even know what one looks like.
I don't know what
That's a
one
good
looks
point.
like too, but I know where there have been some, and it doesn't have to be more than a bed of old daylilies and a little bit of tangle of bittersweet, 2 feet from the water on top of a stone wall.
Okay.
Has anybody seen any of these geese in the last week or two? I personally have not.
No,
No,
they
they
flew away. Once the youngin learned how to fly, they flew away.
Well, we're getting migratory animals now.
Right.
Yeah.
Steve, the resident ones are repeat offenders. Once they know they got a good gig, they'll come back.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I just personally, I sit out on my on my deck, and those little buggers swim up to my beach. I have not seen them in the last couple of weeks. Is all.
Yeah, they're pretty much gone now.
Probably nothing. But
No, they're
if
gone
anybody
now.
has a sniper rifle and they want to take them out, this is a good place to do it. Sit up on my porch.
Oh, God bless
Let
America.
them have it.
Are we
No.
being recorded?
La, 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 la. This is not happening.
Sorry, Mike.
Oh,
From a sniper's vantage point, I have a
oh
good one.
boy.
That's just a comment.
It's just
Off the record.
hypothetically. Let's just
Thank you.
get into hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if you sat up on my deck, you have a good. That's all I'm saying.
Off the record.
And if I'm not here, what do I know?
Yeah.
Saying.
Okay. On that note, are there any other items?
Oh my God bless America. No.
Sorry, Mary. Sorry.
All right.
I was just pointing that out.
Steve, I'll be over. I got a BB gun.
Oh, see, you have a light. You could cook them. You don't even need a BB gun.
There you go.
You burnt the paint off the side of my boat a couple times. You don't need it. You could
I
roast
always
them
love
in
it when I
circles.
see you coming. When I see you coming, I have fun.
Yeah, well, I'm not the only one with the blue lights anymore.
I noticed.
There's a few of those out all of a sudden. But anyway, all kidding aside.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there aren't any more items, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I hear a
Second.
motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Awesome.
opposed? Any abstentions?
Mike,
So
I'll get
moved.
those notes over to you.
Thank you. And
All
Mark,
right.
if you could get me those notes as well, I would appreciate it.
I'll get those to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, Mike.
Okay.
Awesome. Nice
Thank
to
you,
see
everybody.
everyone.
Nice to see you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
Labor Day. Enjoy the Labor Day.
Thank you.
Yes,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
bye.